What about game 2 in Chapel Hill this week? 4-2 Georgia Tech at 3-3 North Carolina. We've talked about the Tar Heels on a 3-game losing streak. This is a noon game Saturday on the CW. Jackets a 6-point favorite in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, the starting point for this one to me is not complicated at all. UNC's junior running back, Omarion Hampton, was an All-American last year, and he's actually 5th in the entire nation in rushing this year with 127 yards per game, which is by far the best number in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Georgia Tech, though, has been the #1 rushing defense in the league so far this season, giving up only 88 yards per game on the ground. Although the Yellow Jackets definitely have not yet faced anyone like Omarion Hampton or any rushing offense for that matter, like the one that the Tar Heels have to offer this year. Expect to see Hampton wearing number 28 going head-to-head with Tech's linebackers Kyle Eford, he wears 44, and Trinellis Tatum wearing number 0 from the linebacker position. I mentioned those numbers because I think we're going to see them collide quite a bit on Saturday afternoon in Chapel Hill. UNC's extremely inexperienced offensive line has improved a bit since the beginning of the season, and that group's just going to have to be at its best this week if the Heels are going to beat the Jackets, both for Hampton in the running game, of course, but also in pass protection where that rebuilt line has not been very good. If the Tech defenders load up against the run, as we'd expect, UNC's quarterback, Jacoby Criswell, the guy who's gone from third stringer to first stringer, is just going to have to make Tech pay for that approach with accurate throws downfield. That's a category where he has been very hit or miss so far this season. Tech's only 2 losses, by the way, came to a Syracuse team that had quarterback Kyle McCord, the Ohio State transfer, throwing the ball all over the place in a way that Carolina has not shown an ability to do this year. The other loss was to a Louisville team that was actually outplayed by Georgia Tech at the line of scrimmage, but the Cardinals just figured out a way to score on both defense and special teams, along with just enough offense against the Jackets. Tech has not been dominant offensively this year, but the Jackets have many of the elements that have driven Carolina's defense crazy this season. They have an experienced dual-threat quarterback in Haynes King, a quality running back in Jamal Haynes, and 2 really speedy, hard-to-cover wide receivers in Malik Rutherford and Eric Singleton Jr. Sounds a lot like the Pitt offense that just drove the Heels crazy in Chapel Hill. We'll see if the Jackets do the same. Carolina's defense, which has been missing its best player, the edge rusher Kamen Rucker, for all but a few plays since the team's season opening win at Minnesota, desperately needs more guys to step up as playmakers. Javari Ritzie at tackle has been that guy at times. Amare Campbell at linebacker has been that guy at times. And I believe Elijah Huzzy is one of the best cornerbacks in the entire ACC. But those guys, as the old song goes, need more help from their friends, as shown by the 70-burger that the Heels gave up to James Madison, and even the 34 points and 500-plus yards that they gave up to the Pitt Panthers last week. As with the Clemson-Wake game, bottom line, there is a path to an upset in this one for the Tar Heels. But again, it seems like a very narrow path for the Heels with very little margin for error.